Hi folks, it is I, once again, FloridaMan, the world's weirdest diplomacy superhero. Today I'm bringing you my comments on a game I played on PlayDiplomacy.com titled Quest for Europe. I played as Turkey, and you'll see that I joined in the build phase of 1901, because in spring and fall of 1901, the initial player never made any moves, and so Russia got into Bulgaria and the original player auto-surrendered. On the bright side, although the original player did not win me any gains, I'm able to persuade Italy, once I join, to build an army instead of another fleet, so he can commit to a land war in Austria rather than a naval war with me. Also on the bright side, in spring 1902, I persuade Russia to let me have Bulgaria in exchange for him getting to put his fleet in Black Sea for a while. Russia also makes an effort to attack Germany while attacking Austria, which I do not really think is a wise use of his resources. An early attack on Germany has never been a good move for Russia in my experience. But Italy is also attacking Austria, so things are looking good for me, at least in terms of my immediate circumstances. Fall 1902, I sneak into Greece, netting myself 2 builds. It does tick off Italy, but I explain in the messages that alliances work best between equal partners, and I sort of smooth things over, but he does build a fleet because he's kind of wary of me now. Spring 1903, Italy and I have agreed that he gets Greece and I get Serbia, so he supports Serbia Trieste and I move into Serbia, unopposed. Austria moves into Albania, and I privately tell him that he can have Greece with my support in the fall. Fall 1903, Italy and I had agreed that he'd take Greece and he and I would perform bounces in the Ionian with our other fleets for a while. Unfortunately for Italy, Austria mysteriously chooses to move into Greece, which bounces Italy and prevents him from getting it. At this point, Italy has had enough of being given the runaround, and during the build phase, he constructs an army so that he can force his way into the centers he wants. At this point, I'm trying to negotiate with France, Germany, and Russia to try and get someone to move against Italy and take a little bit of this potential pressure off of me. But France and Germany are more interested in fighting each other, and Russia doesn't trust me because I've been attacking him. And he wants some territory before he'll even agree to listen to me. Spring 1904, Italy and I both attack Russia very effectively, but Italy also moves against me, and Italy very clearly has the advantage over me in terms of position. I've been trying to persuade Italy not to attack me, but he's wary of the fact that I'm a high-ranked player, and he's concerned quite rationally about having Turkey at his back as Italy while he goes to attack the West. So I think that's pretty close to hopeless. I tell France and Germany that if neither of them is going to send anything against Italy to help me out, I'll probably lose quickly and Italy will probably solo. Unfortunately, they're already attacking each other now, and that continues into the fall. Fall 1904, I told Austria here that I would support him into Moscow, which wasn't true, but I needed him to move to Moscow because I needed Russia to stay weak, lest he take his revenge against me and retake Sevastopol while I'm fighting Italy. Unfortunately, I can see I'm not actually going to win the fight with Italy in any case. I lose Serbia, and I can see I'll get crushed with Italy in Budapest, Serbia, Albania, and the Ionian. I therefore send the following message to France and Germany. Well, gentlemen, now that Italy has drawn first blood, I think I'm going to fold hard and fold fast. I have no wish to reward the fighting in the West by weakening your ultimate adversary with a long conquest. Enjoy your fruitless war. Love, Turkey. I didn't actually sign it love, but everything else was actually exactly verbatim. France replies, Hi Turkey. I am sorry if this sounds a tad harsh, but in real life, do you also attempt to achieve your goals by complaining and threatening to give up? I cannot imagine that would be particularly effective in that domain either. Best, France. I respond to this. Dear France, that did not sound harsh. It actually made me laugh. I have 2 responses to your question. 1. In real life, do you ignore significant problems that are right next to you because you hope other people will solve them? Because that's what you're doing right now. I can't imagine it's very effective in your real life either. 2. Diplomacy is not real life. And as a head of state in this game, I note that history confirms this tactic is a valid one for someone whose situation is they're the leader of a country under attack. Pretty sure the French surrendering in World War II was inconvenient for Britain, but it certainly spared many Frenchmen at the time. In many other wars, cities that surrender are spared, and cities that resist are sacked. I am hoping I can achieve that result, since the other great powers are choosing to do nothing for me, despite my having made my military necessity known well in advance. I respect your point of view, and I understand it's inconvenient for you if I don't vigorously resist Italy. But then again, that's exactly why I'm telling you. I hope that clears that up. Best, Turkey. It's around this point that I also message Italy, and the content of my message is basically as follows. I surrender, you win, I can't beat you, but if you leave me alive, I'll do what I can to help you win. You're in charge. Command me. So, at that point, Italy actually accepts my offer to be his janissary, and he and I arrange what will happen next. He takes Greece, with my prior knowledge and consent, and I start redirecting my forces to mop up the east, rather than worrying about defending against Italy. In fall 1905, I actually take Moscow so I don't go down any net centers, even though I lost Greece. I should note, it takes a while, but Italy gradually begins to trust me and move units away from our shared borders. Related to that, he starts making some strategic mistakes. Now that the game is over, I feel comfortable disclosing that if he had asked for more Turkish centers, or he had demanded that I destroy some Turkish units, especially my fleets, I would have rolled over and given in to those requests, because the alternative was my own fairly certain destruction. He never did that, and it initially resulted in him keeping a few units that were needed elsewhere near me for defense purposes. And then he ended up having to abandon that defense at a crucial time when he started fighting in the west, which was always going to be a pretty dangerous moment for him. I mean, I know I said I would help him win, but there was no reason for him to believe that I would stick to that. If I were him, I would have demanded the destruction of the Turkish fleets and possibly also taken Romania and Bulgaria. His other big mistake, and this mistake was almost as serious, if not more serious, was choosing to go after Germany first instead of France. I could tell, just from looking at the map, that he really should have gone after France, and I'm sure many other players looking at this game will say the same thing. Germany was too weak to pose a major threat to Italy, and France had more fleets than Italy did. And I also knew from hard experience that as long as France is alive, it's very difficult for an Italian player to defend centers acquired in the middle of the board. So Italy made the mistake of leaving me just as powerful as I was when he attacked me, an attack he only made because he was worried about me attacking him, and he made the mistake of making France more powerful by going after the only power that was threatening France. If Italy had gone after France instead of Germany, I strongly suspect the outcome of the game would have been much better for him. Anyway, we see that in spring 1908 I turn on Italy and I start picking up ground again. At this point, the game is me and France racing for the solo for a little while, until I realize that I will not win that race. So I start working with Italy again, and I tell France that he and I could get a two-way draw, but he needs to move back in the Mediterranean in order to let that happen. He says he will, but he continues moving as if he's trying to solo, and he uses Russia as a pawn in this. So all my units move toward defending our lines in both Central Europe and the Mediterranean, and he gradually pushes us back until we're in the stalemate line position. At that point, he finally begins to understand that I was not bluffing when I said he really couldn't win. So he moves his units back, and he proposes a two-power draw, and at that point I stab Italy again, and I accept the two-power draw proposal. With my knife firmly lodged in his back, Italy surrenders, which causes the draw to take effect. That is good, because I was going to have to go back to supporting Italy. France was clearly going for the solo again at the end there, but I was aware of that, so I would simply have supported Italy again at the end and held out with him until we either forced a draw or France gave me some more breathing room, even more of it this time so that I could finish Italy off in security. I hope you've enjoyed this after-action report. It was a bit of an unusual game, but I had fun and I did get to a two-power draw, although I was not able to solo, which is always the ideal outcome. If you liked this, I hope that will give you a reason to like and subscribe to my channel and check out other videos. Feel free to make suggestions in the comments for other things you'd like to see. And until next time, FloridaMan, out.